In the third video of the basic module on writing children's books, we're going to choose an age group. We take children seriously as readers of our books, and that's absolutely right. Because children from a very young age up to 12 and older already know. Of course, they also know what they like, what they enjoy, what they love to do, and what they think is good or bad. So we take them seriously. But there is a difference with adults, and that's that children are still developing. And in that development, we shouldn't overestimate them, because then we're working over their heads, and they can't follow your story. But you also don't want to underestimate them, because then they'll find it childish, and you'll lose them too. So with children's books, it's definitely something you need to think about for a moment. What is actually the age group I want to focus on? Roughly speaking, you could divide the ages for children and children's books into these categories. You have toddlers and preschoolers who are read to, and the read-aloud books, the picture books, those can have a bit more or a bit less text. But they're often stories that go from A to B. Fun stories, sometimes a little sad, but never too thick, definitely not. And that fits in a picture book. We'll talk more about that later. Then you have the children from age 6 and up. They're just starting to learn to read and begin reading their own books. So especially when you think of children who are 6 or 7 years old, it really should only be a few words. And definitely no deep storylines yet. For this age group, you still see a lot of use of picture books, too. Or of school books that follow the order of the school curriculum. But from age 10 and up, they can actually read all the books and understand pretty much all the words within children's books. It is true that children of 10 years old are still working on reading comprehension lessons. So you still have to take that into account. Flashbacks and flash forwards can still be difficult for some children to follow. Chapters that are too thick or digressions that are too long. They don't always have the patience for that yet. So the pace can definitely stay high for this age group, although you can already use almost all genres for them and introduce them to those. And then you have the 12-plus group, the teenagers. They can, of course, handle a lot more already. They can also often follow the different storylines that are interwoven. They've entered puberty and are dealing with a lot of things. They find things stupid, reject them, or want nothing to do with them anymore. Although kids around 10 years old can, of course, already find the opposite sex incredibly annoying. These are also fun topics to play with. Actually, every age group has its own charm, its own fun, and its own possibilities. And it's just good to take a moment to think about that.